Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is the artist Scott, and this channel is dedicated to teaching you how to draw. The medium I've chosen is comics because you do a lot of drawing in comics and you'll learn how to draw by doing comics. Now there's other things involved in there, some other arts and crafts, but hopefully it'll be fun and we'll have a good time doing it. Okay? Now if this is your first time coming to the channel, I encourage you to go back and find the beginning and start from there. This is the freshman class, which means you don't need to know anything about drawing before getting into this. But each drawing lesson I give builds upon the previous one, so each class it's a progression. So you got to, if you don't see the beginning ones, you're not going to know where we are now. So I would encourage you to go back, go to freshman class. Let's Draw Some Comics Freshman, go to day 1, part 1, and start from there. I would actually encourage you to go to the introduction video, then the supplies video, and then that. That way you can see where I'm going and how I'm getting there. Anyway, the part that I'm up to, this is day 4, part 4, and the part that I'm up to is one of the characters in that mini comic that I have is a character that I'm calling, I have been calling him a Superman ripoff. Now, understand that what I mean when I say stuff like that. You have, first of all, it's my belief that pretty much every superhero is a Superman ripoff because Superman was the first. So, you know, when you come along and you have Superman, and then they say, all right, we need another hero. And somebody says, all right, let me do Batman. Well, the reason why Batman was created is because you had Superman. And what they did was they took Superman, who was in the light and in the day, and they just went to the opposite. And they created Batman, who was in the dark and in the night. So it still, to me, means that you're kind of basing him off of Superman. You're just changing things around. Now, what we showed so far about this character, who I think I'm going to call Super Justice, because he stands for justice and he is super. What I think I'm going to, what we've already shown about him in our, as we were writing the comic book, is that he can fly, he's strong, because he's lifting a plane. He's flying the plane to the ground. Over here, he's flying the plane to the ground, and it's hard to hurt him because he's fighting the alien ships, and he takes one of their ray blasts, which I'm assuming is a strong one. So that kind of falls under the powers of Superman. Now you don't want to rip Superman off, but those are like generic powers. If you take Shazam, he also has the same basic powers where he's got strength, you can't hurt him, he can fly. But in fact, the guys who own Superman sued the guys who own Shazam, and they won. But by the time the lawsuit was done with, superhero comics were kind of done with. It's a long story, but the guys who owned Superman comics ended up buying the guys who owned the Shazam comics. But there's a lot of guys who kind of fly, they're strong, and they're hard to kill. So it's not like I'm ripping off Superman directly, but like I said, all the superheroes come from Superman anyway. All right. So what I want to do is I want to give like a clear shot of what he looks like since I'm designing this character, okay? And if you look at our previous lessons, you'll see that I'm focusing on shapes, and I'm not really saying that this is the chest, even though it is the chest. And I'm working with proportions. And I'm going to give a clear idea of who he is. And what I'm doing here, I haven't taught you about yet, but it's called foreshortening, which is why the leg is shorter than it needs to be. It's going to be in a future lesson, perhaps the next one. but he's basically holding his leg up while he's flying. And this is just him flying through the air. And it's basically just to show us what he looks like. Okay? And based on our previous art lessons, he's I'm starting out with the stick figure, and then I'm going to fill everything in, eventually getting to his costume. So this is why we practice this stuff. Now, we haven't worked on faces yet, but I am going to give him a mask, which will make him different than Superman. And I will go through faces real soon. Currently we're working on the body. Give him a big smile because he's Superman. And I'm gonna put a mask on him. I'm kind of making things up as I go along. Sometimes you need to draw on the side so you understand what it is that you're doing. But I think I want to give him like short hair instead of Superman's big, curly type hair. I'm just going to give him short hair. I don't know if he's a blonde yet or what. Haven't made that up yet. You make it up as you kind of go along. So that's our cylinders. And I'm just going to flesh it out a little bit. And a lot of this, again, I'm going to show you all of this stuff, so don't feel too discouraged. But you can practice. At least get the stick figures down, and then put the cylinders around them. And then you could work from there. Okay, you don't have to get everything down pat. I showed you in the previous parts of this day that at one point I wasn't really very good, and it was only through practice I had to learn. And that's the way it is with everybody. You just got to keep practicing. You just do it you just keep doing it. And even when I was doing Super Sensitive for you, everything was kind of vague, and then I filled things in. So we finally got a costume, and it was just from working on it over and over again. And all of this stuff here that I'm drawing is I learned by studying anatomy, and we'll get into studying anatomy. But right now, what I'm doing is I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to show you kind of how to cartoonize it, everything down the road. I'm not very good at cartoonizing everything or making them more cartoony, but I think they're very fun. You can have a lot of fun with them. So I'm just gonna do his belt, and what the heck? Let's make it a square belt, and let's make some cylinders here. And some more cylinders here. We're going to work on feet too. That's a big thing. And we're going to work on hands. Hands and faces are probably very important because it can ruin the whole drawing, really, if you don't do them right. And here I'm not focusing on him too much because I don't want you guys to get discouraged. I'm going to give him gloves to make him different than Superman. I'm going to give him a shirt that kind of it's kind of a little bit low cut. And I'm going to give him boots that are not quite like Superman's either. These are called Buccaneer boots. And now Superman has the red underwear. I'm not going to give him the red underwear, but I am going to give him a cape. And I'm not going to make it a long cape. I'll make it a short cape. It'll stop around mid-thigh. And I didn't have the cape show up in the front here. So what I'm going to do is, this is done frequently, I'm going to draw him from behind. Okay? So this is the back of him. This is his neck. This is his shoulders. And his costume is going to do that. And I'm going to have his cape kind of come out from the back of his costume. Now, listen, I know a lot of people have seen Incredibles, right? And they say that no capes, and he showed that scene where the guy got sucked into the plane. I want to say a little something about that real quick. It was a very funny scene. The thing is that Superman can wear a cape because he's not going to get sucked into an airplane. He's too strong for that. He'll fly right by it and nothing will happen to him. This particular character that I'm drawing now would be able to resist getting sucked into a plane. So there. Now, you may not want to put your superhero in a cape. That's fine. But what I'm doing here is I'm just working out what he looks like in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and call him Captain Justice. And if I work on him later on in the comic book series, I don't know if he's going to come up or not, I'll develop him a little bit further. But right now we've got flight for his powers. Whoops. Flight. Strength. And I'm going to call it invulnerability. Sorry, I'm going back and forth between the camera and looking at the paper, and I'm not so sure. Yeah, there it is. It looked a little blurry to me, so I wanted to clear that up a little bit. I was getting a little nervous about it. That's why I was pausing the way it was. But anyway, this is kind of what we got. This is what we need from the guy. We're not going to need much more for the comic. You know, if I need him again, I'm going to work on him some more. I don't know about any kind of symbol on the chest. I haven't figured that out. Let me see. Oh, wait, I said Captain Justice. I wanted to call him Super Justice. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure I heard the name Captain Justice somewhere and it was taken, so we can't really use that. And I don't know if I'm going to leave. I don't know if I'm going to leave that there, but I'm just going to sketch that in real quick. But anyway, this is his basic design of his costume. So join me tomorrow on day 5, and I'm going to go. I've kind of moved away a little bit from the writing. I'm going to get more into the drawing of it. I'm also going to continue the art lessons as we go through. Okay. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment if you did. Thank you very much. Have a great day.